liberals were the sweetest people on earth. They were. I loved them. I was considering myself a liberal because growing up in Bulgaria in a communist regime, what you wanted is seen to be what the Western liberals wanted. They wanted things like justice. They wanted things like freedom, right? They wanted unbiased rule of law for everyone, no matter their gender, their whether it is a woman or a man, whether it is a black person or a white person. They wanted science, the rational approach, to be above religion, about personal feelings and beliefs. They wanted objectivity. They were the intellectuals. They were the journalists, the writers, the actors, and movie makers as a whole, the academia. I considered myself an intellectual. I was, and a journalist, still am, in a little different form. So these were the positive people, the good, better side of society. And yeah, often, once in a while, it will bother me a little bit that actually they weren't that strong against communism, against the Soviet Union, against China. They opposed the war in Vietnam, which actually worked perfectly. Their position worked perfectly for the interest of the Soviet Union, and Vietnam lost. It was the big loser actually, because it became a poor, ruined country that now is trying to catch up with capitalism, with some form of democracy. So that will bother me a little bit. But who was my favorite writer? It was Kurt Vonnegut, and he's a socialist. I just told myself he's a different type of socialist. He doesn't want what we have here in Bulgaria, in the Soviet Union. He's a naive intellectual. I was giving him a lot of free passes and excuses because he was one of my favorite writers. And you are a little naive, so you have some wishful thinking. So what happened actually with the sweetest people on earth? The hippies. What happened to those people when they grew up and when they took power? The people of the free love, of the short skirts, mini skirts, of the innovation in every aspect, modern art, rock music, and society, different forms of everything. Excuse me, from family to, social experiments. Well, their appetite for experimentation ended up in the hands of the left. They ended up becoming socialist. I don't know why and how did that happen, but the hippies become some totalitarian thinking people who are very intolerant. The people who wanted freedom started taking freedom from others who think differently. They started imposing to society the beautiful ideas that they had in their brains, but they forgot about the freedom of others. They were so convinced being right, they denied others right to be right, to have a voice. They become a caricature. They become a sad, deformed, disfigured, ugly community with blue hairs and pervert sexual expressions and ideas. They started looking at children in school, started telling the children that they are not in the right body. That wasn't the idea. That isn't liberalism. Like Bill Maher often says, this is not liberalism. He didn't change, but he became almost right wing. So what happened to the sweetest person on earth? Well, I want someone to wake up, and I want them back. We need, as a society, to have conservatives with more restrained, conservative approach to changes, but we also want progressives. We just don't want violent people on none side. We don't want progressives who hate the non-progressives, who in Bulgaria, the progressives nowadays hate people who dance folk dances. They consider them retarded, just like Hillary Clinton, who considered conservative America, what was the word she used? Deplorables. Once you go away from democracy, from freedom, from justice, equal justice for everyone, you become a monster. How could they do that? They fought against racism and they become prominent racists. What is the difference if they now hate me, but now they love my black neighbor? What is the difference if they call me and my kids bad names instead of calling my black neighbor bad names? We don't want neither of this. They failed their own mission. That is one of the saddest regression in history. I hope liberals will become again the sweetest people on earth. Is that naive?